Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we are here awaiting the action of the House of Representatives. We don't know whether the House is going to pass the John Boehner proposal. But regardless of what they do, we have the solution right underneath our noses. There have been discussions today. I've had a number of discussions with our colleagues. I've had a discussion first this morning with my colleague from Florida and have had discussions with others. And it seems like to me that the obvious solution, since we are now at the 11th hour and getting close to the 59th minute of the 11th hour, is that you take elements of both the Reid proposal, the McConnell proposal, and the Boehner proposal. And so I would suggest that our leadership consider, regardless of what happens in the House, because the Senate's going to have to act on something to get 60 votes to meet the filibuster threshold here in this chamber and then send a package back to the House. And I would suggest that it be this: that we take the Reid proposal of the larger amount of spending cuts. Senator Reid at first said that's $2.7 trillion. Maybe it's been by CBO marked down at about $2.2 trillion. But that, whatever that larger amount, clearly larger than the Boehner proposal, even though some would argue that it's the Iraq and Afghanistan war wind down savings that you would get. But whatever it is larger than the House proposal, and use that as the first cut by lifting the debt ceiling. But there would be a sequence of events that would happen after that to avoid what the Senate Democrats do not want, that the markets and the rating agencies cause the debt instruments, the U.S. Treasury bills, to be downgraded. There needs to be certainty for those rating agencies for the United States government debt. And it could be achieved this way: that you have a BRAC-like committee, that being a committee that would be composed equally of Republicans and Democrats, that would come up with a package that would then come back to each House, no amendments, up or down vote, but that the fail-safe backup, in case that committee were not able to come to agreement, or in the event that it came back to both houses and one of the houses did not pass it, that you would then have the McConnell proposal, which is that the president would request the increase of the debt, and there would be this procedure that Senator McConnell had laid out, that there would be a resolution of disapproval. If there were such a disapproval, then the president, of course, could veto it. And in order for the president's veto to be overridden, there would have to be a two-thirds vote, and there would not be a two-thirds vote. And therefore, there is the assurance that you would have the raising of the debt ceiling to get us through this next year and a half. It seems that it's right under our nose. And if the parties will just realize that now is the time that we have to act, and we have to find the workable solution that we can get the votes. Now, if we can get, with that kind of proposal, 60 votes here in the Senate, then it goes down to the House, whether they've passed the Boehner proposal or not. At the 11th hour in the 59th minute, recognizing what's at stake for the country, then the House of Representatives is going to do the right thing, and they're going to pass it. Mr. President, I'm just a little country boy, but it seems to me that sometimes we get so wrapped up in all the intricate details that the obvious solution is just right there under our nose, staring us in the face. And I would respectfully request that the Senate consider this. Mr. President, I yield the floor, and I would suggest the absence of a quorum.